good night and welcome to Benalmádena's first English news broadcast. Digital Costa del Sol brings you every Friday all the information about this week's news. After a weekend marked by the cold throughout the country with a spectacular image of snow at Sierra de Mijas or at Fuengirola Beach, on Monday Navas took stock on the damage that it has caused on our municipality.
The Filomena storm didn't cause major damage as it passed through Benalmádena, concentrating its consequences on our coastline, where the strong tide has caused the loss of sun on La Perla beach. Benalmádena's mayor, Víctor Navas, spoke with us this week at City Hall to take stock of the passing of the storm through the municipality, highlighting that there has been no need to regret great damage, although he emphasized the loss of Playa de la Perla, where almost all the sand has been washed out to sea.
En Benalmádena también ha azotado el temporal, al igual que han hecho.
In Benalmádena, the storm also hit hard, as it has in the other cities of the province and in general throughout the national geography. Fortunately, Benalmádena doesn't have to highlight major incidents beyond the usual ones on a rainy day, and with the wind that has been hitting the city these days. We have had some incidents in the Casablanca urbanization where a scooper has burst as a result of the amount of water. We did have considerable damage to the coastline. Specifically, La Perla beach has disappeared. We are currently evaluating the damage and verifying if it's possible that with a new storm the sand has been washed back will return, with the damage from east to west. The first mayor stressed the good job that has been done in cleaning the stream beds and the sewers, something that has helped to avoid many problems.
Nuestros arroyos estaban limpios.
Our streams were clean, the sewers were clean, which has prevented further damage. The fire and emergency services were alert and fortunately no material and serious damage was reported beyond those mentioned. In Málaga province, Filomena hit for 3 days with heavy rains that caused the Fuengirola River to overflow in Mijas, climbing the lives of a man and a woman who were trapped in the car. The official rain gauge that encompassed the entire province, that of the airport, has collected the equivalent of 20% of the rain of the 12 months. It should be noted that the disposition of rainfall below the basin of the reservoirs has meant that so far they have only gained 18 cubic hectometers of reserves in the overall system.
City Council distribute 20,000 masks to educational centers, social collectives, the elderly and the unemployed citizens in a new effort to protect the population and stop the spread of the coronavirus in Benalmádena.
Benalmádena's mayor, Víctor Navas, and the deputy mayor, Elena Galán, announced last week the distribution of surgical masks to educational centers, the elderly, the unemployed, and various social groups organized by City Council.
Va a poner a disposición tanto de...
We will distribute 20,000 surgical masks among groups that may find it difficult to access this resource, a way of anticipating and promoting preventive measures before a month of January in which, after the Christmas holidays, the number is likely to increase again of COVID-19 cases. From the local administration, we tried to put all the means and resources at the disposal of the citizens to help curb the impact of the pandemic in Benalmádena. The 20,000 masks will be distributed in the infant, primary and secondary educational centers, and their distribution will be organized by the management of each center. In addition, they will also deliver masks to social groups such as ABAD, AFESOL, AFAP, CUDECA, ASIS, Red Cross, Caritas, Arroyo de la Miel, and ACC.
Se pondrán a disposición de estos colectivos.
These groups work at the street level and are the ones who best know which people and families are experiencing the greatest difficulties and most urgently need this resource, so that the mask reach those who are experiencing the worst as a consequence of the pandemic. The mask will also be made available to the 3 centers for the active participation of the elderly in the municipality, Gloria Alonso, Anica Torres, and Silvestre González. This distribution to educational centers, social groups, and senior centers began last Friday, January the 8th. They also organize a distribution among the unemployed with 3 collection points: City Hall in Benalmádena Pueblo, the House of Culture and the Bilbil Castle.
Puesto que la mascarilla se ha convertido en algo...
Given the essential nature of masks as a measure of protection and prevention against COVID-19, I think it is very important that all educational centers in the town have them available with a distribution organized by the management of each center, aware of the needs of the students so that they reach those who need it most. We are all hoping that this pandemic, which has caused so much damage and has generated so many difficulties in our daily lives, will decline in 2021 thanks to the arrival of the vaccine. But while the vaccine reaches all or the vast majority of the population, we have to put the necessary means and the utmost care in continuing to take all precautionary and health safety measures.
Diputación de Málaga launched a new registration campaign aimed to the foreign residents of the province, explaining the benefit that comes with it, such as access to educational centers and health services, discounts on public services, or the ability to vote in local and European elections.
Málaga Provincial Council President Francisco Salado announced this week the first results of the registration campaign that the provincial institution Directs for Foreigners in the province has achieved. Under the slogan Level Up, Register and Enjoy Málaga 100%, the campaign made a total of 1,800,000 advertising impacts and reached more than 100,000 people in its first week. Salado, who explained that this initiative is being carried out through social networks and that it has a website, levelupmalaga.es, through which foreign residents can consult what it means to be registered for both their personal interest and their public contribution to the municipality in which they live. Issues such as ease of processing municipal payments or permits, discounts on public services, access to educational and health services, the ability to vote in local and European elections, as well as contributing with their taxes to the improvement of essential services such as cleaning or security, are some of the contents that make up this campaign. Likewise, the website has a list of contacts for each municipality that foreign resident can call to make their registration effective or find out about the process. Precisely thanks to this initiative, as explained by Salado, a total of 4,400 people visit this website to see firsthand the advantage of registering in the municipalities where they usually live or spend most of the year. Of this total number of users, it is certain that at least 1,600 have English, German, or French as their main language. The campaign is also aimed at the total foreign population in the province, which exceeds more than 300,000 people, of which 270,000 are already registered. Salado considers that it is necessary to pay attention to the foreign residents in the province, especially to the nearly 50,000 British people who have made Málaga their home and who see the situation produced by Brexit with uncertainty. In a visit to their headquarters last year, the British ambassador in Spain, Hugh Elliot, highlighted the close relationship between the United Kingdom and Málaga, with facts such as that almost 40,000 Britons have their own home in the province, or the strong commercial relationship that exists between the English country and Málaga, with more than 200 million euros a year in goods.
British residents in Spain were prevented from boarding flights heading from the UK to Málaga, among other Spanish airports, after airlines refused to accept the Green EU certificate as proof of residency, even though it should be a valid document.
Brexit and the restrictions due to the variant of the COVID-19 virus, known as the British variant, caused chaos and distress for hundreds of Britons legally resident in Spain as they tried to return to the country after Christmas. Airlines and passport control on both sides were either refusing boarding on flights from UK airports, or people were being deported back to the UK upon arrival in Spain. Anne Hernández, president of Brexpats in Spain, and those caught up in the chaos agreed that the message that Spain would allow residents with a green certificate or card or people with proof that they were in the process of getting residency hadn't got through to airport and airline officials. Spanish authorities and the British Embassy in Madrid were quick to respond to the problem and sent a communication to airlines and airports clarifying that anyone with a green residency certificate or card or proof that they were in the process of applying for residency could be able to return to Spain. British Ambassador Hugh Elliot had already posted a video explaining the situation on December 21st.
As you'll all be aware, last week, the UK agreed a deal with the European Union, and today marks the end of the transition period. As you'll also know, your rights under the withdrawal agreement remain unaffected. So, as long as you were legally living in Spain before the 31st of December, you can continue to live, work and study here as you do now. Now, I also want to reassure you that whilst you must register as a resident as soon as you possibly can, your rights remain protected even if you do not yet have your Green Residency Certificate or TA. But I do urge you to take action to get your documentation in order. Now, if it's difficult to get a face-to-face appointment, and I know it can be, we recommend looking into the digital certificate option to submit your documents, or even ask a third party to do so on your behalf. You should also make sure that you're correctly registered for healthcare. Now, I know most of you are, but not everybody. So I want to emphasise that if you live here, you should not be using a UK-issued EHIC, EHIC, to access healthcare in Spain unless you're a student or a posted worker. Please see our healthcare page on gov.uk for information about the different access routes to healthcare. Now, 2020 has been a pretty difficult year for many of us. Many have lost loved ones, some your regular income. None of us have been unaffected by the pandemic, and we will inevitably have many more months with restrictions in place. But the vaccine does provide a light at the end of the tunnel. So on behalf of everybody in the embassy and consulates, I just wanted to wish you all the best for a safe and a healthy new year.
But even with that, Malaga resident Stephen Meldrum was refused entry onto a flight to the Costa del Sol on Saturday after he was told incorrectly by checking staff that his green residency card was no longer valid after December 21st. The manager on duty at the time told Meldrum that only Spanish passport holders were being allowed off a flight that had landed at Barcelona El Prat Airport earlier, and that Britons on board the flight had been sent back to the UK. Meldrum returned to his UK home, where he received a phone call from BA admitting to their mistake and offering him a flight the following day. However, his PCR result would have no longer been valid by Sunday. He's now hoping to fly again with a new negative PCR result. Fuengirola resident Penny Brown Lee, who was traveling back from Bristol to Malaga on 1st January, was allowed to board her flight with her TE card, negative PCR test, and the Spanish health control form. Anne Hernández said on Monday that although the problem seems to have been semi-solved, it had been a nightmare weekend trying to get these poor Brits back home. The Brits in Spain Facebook page has provided regular updates and on Sunday post clarification from the Spanish Embassy in London, which they said had also been shared with all the relevant airlines and ferries. The British government's website has also been updated with information about which documents are required and accepted, as well as advice that the ban on entry into Spain for non-residents announced on December 22. This was due to run out on January the 5th, but has now been extended until January 19th.
Junta de Andalucía announced new measures to fight the coronavirus pandemic. The measures that started on Monday are supposed to last until January 24, although it's probable that new and harder measures are imposed after the rise on cases during the week.
Junta de Andalucía announced new measures for the region in force for 2 weeks since January 11th until and including January 24th to help curb the spread of coronavirus. The measures include the closure of shops and businesses at 8 p.m., bars and restaurants must close at 6 p.m., while cafeterias can stay open until 8 p.m. as long as they don't serve alcohol after 6. Establishments will be able to stay open for the collection of takeaways until 9:30 p.m. and food can be delivered to homes until 11:30 p.m. The night curfew has been brought forward to 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. across the region. Moreno said that for now, travel from province to province within Andalucía is still permitted. The regional border separating Andalucía from the rest of Spain remains closed for non-essential travel after the measure was partially lifted only for the holiday period. The ban on movement between the 8 towns currently closed in the Campo de Gibraltar remains in place.
Andalucía tiene hoy una tasa de incidencia de 186.
Andalucía today has an incidence rate of 186 infections per 100,000 inhabitants, below the whole of Spain, which is in more than 320 cases. Hospital pressure in Andalucía is also below the Spanish average, both in conventional beds and in the intensive care unit itself, but the trend is upward. We knew that the third wave would arrive, and it is already beginning to be noticed. So, in view of that peak in the pandemic and always attending to the criteria of our specialists, we have taken these measures. Maintain the perimeter closure for the autonomous community so that you can only enter and leave with a cost. Mobility between the 8 provinces is currently allowed. The curfew is established between 10 at night and 6 in the morning, also keeping the meeting limitation at 6 people per gathering. Shops may open until 8 in the afternoon, the hotel business until 6, the cafeterias until 8, as long as it does not sell alcohol. The school year in the compulsory stage will continue normally as it is being exercised until now. Classes at the university will be online in those centers that are in the area with alert level 4. Stricter measures are also being brought in La Línea de la Concepción, Cádiz, and Añora, Córdoba, given that these 2 towns are in risk level 4. There, all non-essential business activity must close. Moreno explained how the rate of infection is rising following the holiday period, highlighting that so far the rate of hospitalization is lower than anywhere else in Spain, but the measures we are going to take are proportional. The meeting came 2 days before the special Christmas conditions end on Sunday and in the face of a sharpening increase in cases both regionally and nationally following people mixing over the holiday season. On Thursday, January the 7th, there were 2,687 new coronavirus cases in the region, the highest daily figure since November 26. Despite Andalucía reporting among the lowest figures in Spain in recent weeks, the rate of positive cases in the last 14 days per 100,000 people regionally had risen to 192, up by 51 points on a week earlier.
And these are today's headlines. Navas valued the damages caused by the Filomena storm. City Hall distributed 20,000 masks between different collectives. New registration campaign aimed at foreign residents. British residents in Spain affected by Brexit confusion. Moreno announced new measures against coronavirus. The weather forecast for the weekend will leave us with skies slightly cloudy or clear, increasing at night to cloudy. Minimum rising temperatures on the Costa del Sol and decreasing maximum temperatures on the Axarquía coast, the rest with little changes. Weak frost in parts of the interior and winds from the northwest, turning during the day to the east on the coast and leaving variable light winds in the interior. And that's all. Thank you for watching us, and remember, you can stay updated on our website or social media profile on Facebook. Have a good night and enjoy the weekend.